Marissa. So today, first off, I just got out of the shower, so that's why my hair looks like this. But this video I wanted to do like It Cosmetics brushes versus like the Morphe brushes, just to see like which one would blend better, because they're both really nice. I think they're about to work the same, but I've never used It Cosmetics brushes before, or Morphe, like until like a few videos ago I started using the Morphe brushes. But I had a few like of these that I saw at Ulta from the It Cosmetics that were from like Christmas, so they were clearancing them out, and I'm like, these are perfectly good to use for like a video, so I'm gonna use these. And then there's also something else from It Cosmetics. Let me go grab it. And I also got, this is what I was gonna grab, and it is the Your Starry Eyed Brush Trio. So it includes an all over shadow, crease, and smudger eye brushes, and so they're pretty nice. They have like a little bit of like a sparkle, like a black sparkly stuff in it in the brushes themselves. I haven't opened this yet, or this one either, and this one's just a foundation brush, and it comes with like a little pink bracelet also, which I think is really cute. And then for the Morphe one, I got the Catch My Eye Morphe set, and it comes with 6 different brushes. I know some of them still need to be washed out because I was using them from different videos, but like they work really good. I haven't tried the It Cosmetics ones yet, like how I said, but they both work really good, and we're just going to do one side of Morphe and one side of It Cosmetics. So I'm going to be starting my eyes using the LA Girl Pro Conceal. I usually just apply this with my fingers, but just to see how the brushes work, I'm going to be using brushes instead. So first I'm just going to be taking some of this and just applying this to my eyelid. And then I'm going to be taking, let's use this Morphe M167 brush, and I'm just gonna blend that in. So this is the Morphe side, which is the right side of the screen, and then the left side is gonna be the It Cosmetics side. So this applied pretty well. It still stayed, like that pigment is still on there. It didn't really take anything off of my eyelid and, you know, put it on the brush. So that applied pretty well. And then let's see what brush I'd be using for the It Cosmetics, because we only have 4 brushes. It's these 3 or the foundation one, which obviously I won't be using that for my eye. So let's see, let me try opening this. So I'm gonna be using the It Cosmetics Crease Brush. I'm just going to be blending it in with that. Alright, so I blended both of them, and they both look pretty much the same, but if I have to be honest, like, I don't know if it picks it up on camera, but this side seems to be more smoother, but maybe it's just because I'm using a different type of brush, so I'm not really gonna just really judge these based off of that. But they both blended out really good, but I just feel like this side's just a little bit more smoother, probably because that brush was fit more for using concealer. This is more for like using like eyeshadow and stuff and buffing it out. So, but it's still really, it blended it out really nicely. Compared to this one, I kind of had to take more of my time. So the pros and cons so far have been evening out a lot. So the eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon palette, and just because we're going to be testing to see how the brushes work, I'm just going to be doing like a simple neutral eye kind of makeup look. So I'm going to first go in with the shade Mocha. It's like this light tan kind of color, and so I'm just going to dip that in with the Morphe M321 brush and just put it into my crease first. And then to buff it out, I'm going to be using the Morphe M330 brush. This blends out like really nicely. Like I really don't have to do much at all for it to have a really nice blend to it. so I really do like that. And then for the It Cosmetics side, I'm going to be using that same crease brush and just dipping into that shade and just really buffing and blending it out with that. This is as well blended as I could get for the It Cosmetics side, but I just feel like this side is a little bit more pigmented compared to this side. It just looks a little bit more faded to me, but then again, like how I said, I have limited brushes with the It Cosmetics, but it blended out really nicely, like on both sides. But so far, I'm really liking how this Morphe side turned out. But yeah, let's just go down to the next step. So for my eyelid, I'm going to be using the M167 brush again that I used before for just like, you know, applying the concealer as the base beforehand. And then I'm going to be taking the shade Molasses Chip, and it's just this kind of rose gold, or not rose gold, but more of just like a goldish color right there. And I'll just be applying that to my eyelid. For the It Cosmetics side, I'm going to be using the Smudge Brush, and I'm just going to be dipping into that same shade. Now, obviously, they both applied really nicely, but I know for a fact if I used my finger, it would be a little bit more pigmented for both sides, just because this kind of shade you usually want to apply with your finger anyway because it's like a shimmery shade, but they both applied very evenly. I know this one's usually just used for like, you know, like a smudged eyeliner kind of look, but it still applied really nicely, just as nice as the Morphe side. So these two kind of just tied for this one. So the next step I'm going to be doing is just doing like, you know, just kind of just buffing out like the outer crease of my eye. So the shade I'm going to be using for the outer crease of my eye is probably either dark chocolate or malted. I'm probably just going to mix them together both and just kind of create like an outer wing with that. And this is the brush, I totally forgot. It's the brush M574. And I'm just going to just buff it out and just try to create a wing with it and just kind of clean up around the edges afterwards. Okay, so this is what I came up with this side. I know my face is a little bit red right now just because I tried rubbing off, like, you know, the fallout from underneath. But it's not bad, but I think what's going to be hard is just trying to replicate that same shape using a different brush. So the brush I'm probably going to be using is that Smudge Brush again from the It Cosmetics. And I basically just use mainly of that Malted shade, but I also use some of that Dark Truffles shade also. Both of them are blending out really nicely though. So far I've had no problem with either or. Just this side seems to be more pigmented just because, like how I said, I have a little bit more brushes to choose from other than the It Cosmetics side. So far as I'm using the smudger one, I feel like this one actually gave off more pigment to like the smoked out shadow that I'm trying to do. So this is actually giving me a lot more pigment than this side. I can already tell, like, I just feel like this one's a little bit more faded, but they're both really pretty. And I was really scared that the eyeshadows or like the winged eyeliner wouldn't match, but they match pretty well. I think I'm going to go in with this side a little bit more and just kind of make it out a little bit longer just because I feel like it's a little bit short compared to this side. But yeah, let me just fix that in 1 second. So this is what I came up with. I'm not going to add like an actual liquid liner or anything because I don't have the brushes for that to just apply it like that. So the next step I'm going to be going into is just using like the concealer and stuff for my face. I don't have any kind of like foundation brush for the Morphe side. So I'm just going to probably just use that for both sides of my face using that It Cosmetics brush that I have. But I'm not going to just count that as a point for either or. I'm just going to be using that just to test to see how that brush works on my face. And that is the the Brush Therapy Duo. It's like the pink little set that was clearanced out at Ulta because it was a limited edition set for Christmas. But they always have like brushes like this all the time. Like, I'm sure there's one very specific to this, like that they sell all year long. So I'm just gonna try it out anyway, just to see how I like it and just how much coverage it gives me. But I just really like, now that I'm looking at it, how the wand has like a rose quartz kind of look to it, and it just matches the bracelet. Like, I think that's really cute that they have that involved with it, like how they have that incorporated with it. So yeah, I think that's really cute, and don't mind my hands. I know they look really bad right now. I need to get my nails redone, but besides the point. So far I really like the packaging and everything, so I'm gonna try this out. Before I get started into like my foundation and concealer, this is what the bracelet looks like. It's actually really cute. I have a really small wrist, so everything is really big on me, but it has like the little It Cosmetics logo. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's really small. And it's just really cute, and honestly it goes along with the theme so well, and I can see myself wearing this with like other, you know, like outfits and stuff, so I really do like this. And then this is what the brush looks like. I just think it's like really detailed too. I really like the shape of this, and it just looks really cool. And I don't normally wear foundation just because of how sensitive my skin is. I'm gonna use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer instead of foundation just because of how sensitive my skin is. So this is in the shade Fair Neutral, and I'm just gonna be applying that under my eyes and any kind of like redness or problem areas. And I'm just gonna kind of randomly just dab it everywhere. I've never used a brush before for any kind of foundation or concealer. I always just use, you know, like that Real Technique sponge that I always like use in my videos. But so far this is blending out pretty nicely. So honestly, this didn't blend bad at all. Obviously when it blends, it is pretty sheer. I do have a few like little dry patches here, but that's just the way my skin is, just because of how sensitive it is. So I'm not really going to use that against the brush. It usually gets like that too, even with my beauty blenders. But so far it's pretty nice. I would recommend using this if you like light coverage. If not, I would put a lot more, you know, foundation and concealer on, but the coverage that it gives me is not bad at all. I actually don't mind it. I'm gonna add a little bit more, but instead I'm gonna use the LA Girl concealer. I'm just gonna add that under my eyes this way, because this is a thicker consistency of concealer, so I'm gonna see how well it blends this one. I think what I'm gonna do, because this is blending it out really nicely, but I just really can't get into those, you know, the inner corners of my face. So I am gonna start using its own brushes for each side again. So this is the Morphe side. So I'm gonna probably take, let's see, I'm gonna take the M167 brush again. I'm just gonna blend that in with the remaining foundation, or the remaining concealer that I have under my eyes. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm just cleaning this brush off because it's dirty. Yeah, that blended in really nicely. And then for the It Cosmetics side, so far this side looks really nice. I am going to fix it off camera just to get those rough patches off my face, just because it just doesn't look really nice, and that's just how dry my skin is. It always is. So I'm going to fix that in a second, but I'm gonna grab something for the It Cosmetics side, and I'm gonna use this brush. I haven't used it yet. It's an all-over shadow brush, but I'm just gonna try it as the concealer to buff it out. And this is buffing out really nicely also. So yeah, this is what the Morphe side looks like, and this is the It Cosmetics. So far it's not that big of a difference. The only difference that I really see that's noticeable is obviously the wings, just because I was using two different brushes, so I couldn't really get that exact precise, you know, angle, but that's my own fault. But so far it's really turning out great for both sides. I really don't have a complaint for either or. I'm just gonna go ahead off camera and fix those rough patches like how I said, and then I'll be right back. So to set my under eyes and stuff on the Morphe side, I'm going to be using the Morphe M330 brush. And then for the IT Cosmetics side, I'm going to be using that all over shadow brush again. And yeah, I'm going to be using the Airspun loose face powder to set my face in the shade Naturally Neutral. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I just got done using those and they both turned out really well. I think it looks pretty like airbrush, so I really don't have any complaint with either or again. They both look exactly the same how I applied it, so I really do like it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to my brows, but I'm going to just be using the e.l.f. angled brush just because neither of the sets that I have from Morphe or IT Cosmetics have an angled brush. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that real fast, and then I'll go to the next step. So to apply my bronzer, I'm going to be using it as contour as always in the Butter Bronzer in the shade 6676. So for the IT Cosmetics side, I will be using that same brush again, just trying to buff it out that way. For the Morphe side, I'm not too sure yet. I think I'm just going to switch it out in between different brushes and just try to mimic it as much as possible. So first, let's just start with the IT Cosmetics side. And then just to contour my nose with that Butter Bronzer, I'm going to be using that all over eyeshadow brush again. So for bronzer on the other side, I'm going to be using the Morphe M330 brush. We're going to see how this goes. It's probably going to work, but oh no. It's probably going to work, but it's going to just take some time to buff out. So I'm just going to fast forward this part because it's just going to take me a little bit longer than the other side. But so far it seems to just be looking darker because I'm using a smaller brush, so I'm probably just gonna blend that in with a beauty blender. I know that's kind of cheating, but either way it just shows me that this does apply a lot of the coverage, and this side just really does smooth it out. So because I'm using the different brushes, again, so far it's not too bad. Blush, I'm going to be using the Tarte blush in the shade Peaceful on both sides, and we're just going to be using those same brushes again. And then for highlight, I'm going to be using the shade Satin Sheets, which is this color right here from that Bonbons palette. And for the Morphe side, I'm going to be using the M429 brush. And then for the IT Cosmetics side, I'll be using that Crease Brush again. Then I'm just going to be using the Clinique High Impact Mascara, and then I'll be right back. I'm just going to be using the e.l.f. Lip Lacquer, and then I'm just going to be applying that. And then this is the completed look. I really don't have anything else to add with those brushes. I really like how both sides turned out. They both turned out pretty exactly the same, especially since I only had like 3 brushes to use basically for the IT Cosmetics side. But honestly, I think they both work really well. I really don't have anything bad to say about them. But if you're looking to see like which kind of brushes that you want, if you want something a little bit more affordable, then I would go with the Morphe side. If you want something that's a little bit more, you know, high maintenance, or you just have like probably better lasting, maybe a little bit longer lasting brushes. I'm sure they're made a little bit better, but overall they both perform the exact same. I would recommend the IT Cosmetics side then. Overall, they both work really well. Like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about them, but yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and if you have any more comments or suggestions that you have, just comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next week's video. Bye!